the end zone! Touchdown Bulldogs!
The Dogs win the GLIAC tournament title!
Well, that's how you get it started right there.
I want to give the teams and athletes the freedom to be creative.
I think that's something we rally around as a team. We're out there no matter what the weather is.
We just do a good job of eating it up and using it to our advantage no matter what.
I got a lot of pride in being a Bulldog. I think it's awesome.
You're listening to Behind the Bulldogs, brought to you by Ferris State Athletics.
Howdy, everybody. Welcome in to another episode of Behind the Bulldogs, brought to you by Car Center. Brandon Wirt, Joe Nagy with you this fine Thursday afternoon.
What's up?
We got a great show.
We do. We really do. I'm very excited for this episode. We got two great guests coming on the interview. Not going to spoil them just yet, but I'm really excited because we have a lot to talk about. Got a lot to review, a lot to preview, and the great interview as well. It's a triple header, Brandon. It's Triple Crown.
Triple Crown, it always is, and we're certainly glad to have Chloe Idoni and Mallory McCartney, another pick and roll duo coming on the pod. So it's going to be a good one to have what they have to say on their season as well as life as a Ferris State women's basketball player, and it certainly is fun to watch.
Two thumbs up. Two thumbs up.
Absolutely 2 thumbs up. Before we get into that, of course, we got the Ferris State rundown here as we'll get to take a look at the week in review. And we'll start especially with women's basketball, Joe, last Wednesday. Get a 15-point win over Spring Arbor. They were 7th in the country, now up to 5. Just climbing the ladder.
Big time. That's exactly what we'd like to see, especially 85-70 win is pretty big time, especially because that was our only game of that week, was it not?
I believe so. Yes, it was.
Yeah, so it was. And obviously that Great Lakes Christian game was postponed, so you only have one game of the week. It's a nice little recoup for this upcoming one, especially starting GLIACs with Purdue Northwestern, Wisconsin Parkside coming up. That's going to be a tough little matchup today, I guess, isn't it?
Yeah.
Since we're recording this on Thursday?
Correct. It'll be tonight.
Yeah. So we'll be talking a little bit about that a little bit more in the preview of what's going to happen in the weekend. But that Spring Arbor game, 85-70, a really solid showing from Kenzie Bauer. She got 7. Deshawn Day got 9. Chloe Idoni, 21. Easy little 21 burger. Not too bad. And then Mallory McCartney with 8 points and 6 assists. And then Kaden Blanchard finishes off the rest of the starting 5 with 14. And some solid showing from everybody else on the bench, too. Almost everybody getting on the score sheet with a point, which is pretty solid, and especially why this team has jumped up to number 5.
Absolutely, and you can tell that they are starting to shoot the ball better, I should say. They're definitely moving the basketball better over these last couple games, and it certainly is on display. And I think this team really hasn't even unlocked their potential yet, which is even more exciting, being number 5 in the country and still work to be done. But they're going to have a very fun doubleheader this weekend, as well as men's, who also had a game this last Saturday, an absolute blowout, dominant win over Grace Christian, and especially they had everybody except for my boy Brandon Clowerbout got the box score, but he did contribute as well outside of the point sheet, so he did have a full loaded box score for Ferris State, but especially just from that game, Grace Christian hit a couple shots early on. They were keeping it to double digits, and then we started rolling away with it, and then it was really just dominance the rest of the way. The transition game was awesome. The defensive presence, being able to get some steals, some slams, that was fun. And especially for Coach Broncoma's team, coming off that loss to McKendree, feels like that just fueled the fire even more. They take down Lewis, a really, really good ball club in regional play at the buzzer from Jack Ammerman, and then they're able to beat Grace Christian in dominant fashion. So I think they're off and running, especially, and you just look at the depth they have on that team, and it just really is fascinating to watch, being able to have new 5 on the floor, never lose intensity, never lose any skill, never lose any chemistry, and that's just how deep Coach Broncoma's got this team right now, and they are just firing on all cylinders.
Yeah, especially in this game. I mean, kind of switched up a little bit with what we saw in that starting 5, but when you have Dang Rang back, when you add Jack Ammerman to it, and you toss Amari Lee, Ethan Erickson, and Veas on the bench, that's a pretty solid 3 that's going to be coming out for the first break. But even so, we have a solid amount of guys that are able to fill it up right off the bench, and that's going to be really, really valuable, especially later on in the season. If injuries do happen, hopefully they do not, but when the season's going along and the guys got to get some rest and maybe take the workload off some guys, we got a couple of dudes who are able to step up and be the next man up, which is very, very valuable in these trying times.
Absolutely. It's going to be a fun season, and of course we'll have all of the coverage, so you can make sure you subscribe here on Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Spotify, and more all winter long to follow these two teams as well as the rest of our winter sports. Speaking of winter sports, going over to hockey, a really dominant win on Friday, and of course the Tommies got us back on Saturday pretty good with an old
tough little situation there.
Yeah.
Not going to lie.
So it was definitely a tough Saturday game, but I think definitely when you look at the outlook of it, I think that they're still on the right track. I think they're still doing the right things. And I think just it was a really bad day for them on Saturday. But Friday, you got to see the full potential of this team. You just got to put it together for 2 nights. That's really been the struggle all season long.
Yeah, Stein got to start on Friday. Giesbrecht got to start on Saturday. Giesbrecht was kind of behind the 8 ball right off the rip, had 2 really tough shots to block that got him behind on that Saturday game. And that was just kind of something that just really added to the domino effect where it just started to rain and pour and stuff like that. So you got to not knock it when you can. I mean, only 1 goal as well from the offense. So it kind of fell off with that offensive ability. But I think especially when you look at the St. Thomas team, who's atop of the CCHA, you can get that win on Friday. Didn't have the greatest performance Saturday, but I think especially when you look at a weekend as a whole, I think that's a W, especially getting our first win in regulation as well since February. That shows how tough the CCHA is, especially when we've had 3 overtime games as well so far, 4 overtime games this season as well. So that's going to be very valuable, I would say, when it comes to point standings later on this season. It's big time for CCHA standings.
Absolutely. And speaking of the CCHA standings, we're still in the hunt for first as the 8th place team. I mean, there's only 7 points there was at least going into that Saturday game.
I'll give a quick little look-see here.
Between 1 and 8. Isn't that crazy? Joe will double check that for us here. While I get to tell you about Car Center, our sponsor for this show. You can request the best. When you need bodywork, request the best. Request the Car Center in Big Rapids. Find Car Center off Northland Drive in Rogers Heights and online at carcentermi.com. Anyway, was that enough stalling for you, John?
Yeah, we are only 2.5 games back from 4th place. We have 8 points. Bemidji State has 13 points. So that would be solid if we're able to jump that up. That's only 2.5 games and we got home field advantage for playoffs. 18 points to 8 points is what separates. St. Thomas was able to get obviously that 3 points from last week, but Michigan Tech and Minnesota State got some very valuable points as well, which kind of spread it out a little bit more. But knowing this upcoming week, I think we're going to see just another little monkey wrench thrown in the whole business that's going to get everything a little bit closer.
I think absolutely. It's going to be a fun weekend against Bowling Green. We'll get to that in the Ferris State Sports Slate. Finishing out volleyball, concluded their season, unfortunately, but they made it to the regional final game and ran into one of the top teams in all of NCAA volleyball, regardless of division, in University of Missouri St. Louis, and I think when you looked at that game, we were in that game more than anybody has been in the entirety of the tournament against that team. Did up losing 3-1, but I mean, we evened it up at 1 apiece. We were playing really close in that 3rd set. Unfortunately, UMSL made a nice run of 4, 5, 6 in a row, and they ended up holding it the rest of the way and winning set 4. But I think when you looked at this team, especially beating Rockhurst, beating a really good Hillsdale team in round 1, who is much better than a 7 seed in my book, you looked at how great this team has been all season, and especially the defensive improvement they've showed this year has been absolutely awesome. And I think especially just that high-powered overall offense to go with the momentum of swings that, of course, we see. They're such a great team in grasping the momentum in the moment and using it. And you saw that especially in the tournament and especially at home court here at Bulldog Arena. But, I mean, fantastic season across the board. I mean, we saw 3 all-region honorees, Claire Nowicki, Olivia Henneman-Delapi, and Kaylee Mott getting those honors, and I think they're definitely deserving of it. And the best part is we're really only losing 1 or 2 players coming next year. So
we are so back.
Almost run it back.
We are so back. Also, Missouri St. Louis 33-1.
Correct.
So
correct.
Pretty good.
Yeah. Very, very good. The Tritons are on their way potentially to a national championship game.
Possibly.
Yeah. So that's just how good they are. But we give them a really good run. So I think that's fun. So congrats to Coach Brandon Wilhelm. Great season for volleyball and really just a fantastic year. And we'll look forward to next year making another tournament run. So it's going to be fun. Finishing out here before we get to the interview, we got a couple shout outs to make, of course, for all of our all-region honorees. Of course, we just mentioned our AVCA All-Americans for volleyball as well. Chloe Idoni, speaking of which, Defensive Player of the Week in GLIAC play, as well as Reese Hazelton, Offensive Player in the Week in men's basketball on the other side. And going back to women's soccer, Catherine Welchie getting an honoree in her freshman year as an all-region player for Coach Henson. So congratulations to her. Yeah, she got it. How cool is that? Yeah. But also as well for football, not to bring up bad memories of that game or anything, but Sean Stevens, Xavier Wade, Bryce George, Brennan Jensen, and Justin Payout all receiving all all-region honorees for that one postseason game. It only took was one game to show out and ball out. So there you go.
That's huge for the program, if you ask me.
Yeah, huge for the program as well. And it was really great to watch those really just all those seasons successfully all year long. So, but that's going to do it.
We're blessed, man. We're treated well.
Yeah, we are treated well here at Ferris State. But that's going to do it here for the Ferris State Rundown. We're going to send you to the interview room with Chloe Idoni and Mallory McCartney.
Let's shoot it over. Now joining us in studio, Mallory McCartney and Chloe Idoni of the Ferris State women's basketball team. Welcome to the show. Thanks so much for coming on.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Absolutely, and we'll get to the fun question right off the bat here. You guys, number 5 in the nation. I mean, how cool does that feel for all the hard work you guys put in the offseason, and now you're kind of getting to see a little bit of the benefits here early in the season, ranked as a top 5 team in the entire country?
Yeah, it's super cool. I feel like feels really good to be recognized by whatever committee does it and everything. And I know it's really early, but it gives us something to strive for to keep being better each week. And just really excited for the girls and this entire team.
I agree. It gives us reassurance with all the hard work that we put in the preseason. It's definitely not easy. So, and it makes us feel good that we're getting recognized for that.
For sure, but with that number 5, it kind of puts a target on your back that you're the team that everybody wants to be. I mean, going into this weekend, you have 2 tough games against Wisconsin Parkside and Purdue Northwest. What's it like now knowing, hey, we're the team to beat, we got to go in and play our best basketball?
We're a veteran-heavy team, and I think we handle pressure pretty well, and we've been in that situation where there's been high stakes. So, I feel confident in our team that we'll be able to be ranked that highly, but also, know that we still have stuff to prove.
Yeah, for sure. Just playing off that, I think that in the past we've always chased people, and it's pretty fun being the one being chased now. So I don't think we really look at it as a target. It's more just we want to keep proving ourselves, and we love it too. It's we know when you play Ferris that you're gonna have to have a big game or you won't get by us. So.
Right, that's a great mentality to have, and especially for you guys offensively have done really well. I believe every single game above 77 points so far through your first 4 games. Just talk about the work that you guys have put in, especially in the offseason, and especially you mentioned, Mallory, the experience and the chemistry you guys have really kind of in your second, third year together as a team.
Yeah, I mean, exactly what Chloe said. It's a very veteran-heavy team. I feel like we have new pieces, but we only brought in 1 freshman, and we did something really rare. We didn't graduate anyone. So we brought everyone back, and throughout this entire summer, I think every single girl is in the gym every day. And being able to prove how much work we've put in, how well that worked, it's really fun to be a part of and to see.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I agree. I would say that the culture on this team is definitely something special that I'm lucky to be a part of. Like Mallory said, everyone gets in the gym, everyone's super bought in. So when you have a team like that, it's hard to not be successful. And so I'm hoping we can just keep this rolling.
Yeah, and especially with the road trip coming up. It's not the longest drive you'll have to take this year, but what do you do on those long bus drives to kind of pass the time? Is it kind of, a lot of people are talking, there's kind of, I know soccer, they like to do TikToks and stuff. Is that the same thing that basketball likes to do? What's kind of you guys' routine when you get on the bus and get ready for games?
We like to play a lot of cards on this team. We're always playing euchre, cribbage, other card games like that. So that's how we pass time.
Do you have a go-to euchre partner on the team, or?
Yeah. I'd say Mallory's my go-to euchre partner.
All right.
We played together for 4 years now, so we know how each other plays, and she's a good player. So
yeah, do we have a record tally on how many that's been won, or win percentage maybe? Or
we should have been keeping it.
We should have. Yeah, win percentage, it's up there. I would say it's up there. We're hard to beat. Sometimes we have to separate as partners just so we don't keep winning. But
okay. That's
suffer from success there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, for sure. As far as kind of the atmosphere on the bus rides, you guys like to keep it light, or is it kind of locked in business trip? We're going to get there, we're going to get a win, we're going to come back.
I think it's a little bit of both. I think that on the way there, it might be a little bit of lighthearted, fun energy. But on the way to the gym, as far as going to the game, I think everyone pretty much has their headphones in, and whether you visualize or whether you just get in that zone, that's pretty much what happens. It's business at that point.
For sure.
Yeah, I would agree with Mallory. Talking a lot during the beginning of the trip, but you can kind of see when we're about to get there that everyone's listening to the music that hypes them up and whatnot. So
yeah, what's on the playlist for you two? the pregame playlist?
Oh, it depends. I would say I have to stay really calm at first, so I do a lot of different fun music, more R&B type of thing, but once we arrive to the gym, it kind of flips to rap, just so I can get hyped up and not too early.
For sure.
All right.
Yeah, I agree. I would say when we get to the gym, it's more of like a rap playlist to hype me up a little bit. But other than that, probably just chill, like R&B music.
Okay. Is there a team DJ that's always, got the locker room speaker, my playlist, everyone out of the way, let's go? Is there somebody like that?
We're right there.
Yeah, most of the time I have it, but we have a lot of good people on our team who do aux, so it's kind of whoever gets in there and connects first.
Oh, so it's a race basically. So you got to be on the front of the bus. Oh, okay.
Right.
Very interesting.
I was going to say no white noise on the playlist, just kind of locked in or anything like that. I had a kid in high school who did that. It was very weird.
No, absolutely not. Oh my gosh.
For sure.
That would
But
not go to us.
there's a lot of places that you've been able to play, especially with like NCAA tournament and stuff like that. And even like with Michigan Tech and stuff, what's been the longest bus ride, the longest travel, or what's felt like the longest type of travel that you've had to do?
Yeah, I would say the UP trip, for the most part, like something that we do every single year. So, it's about like 7.5 hours. And then obviously we're a winter sport, so you never know how the roads are going to be, especially crossing that bridge. That definitely feels like the longest one, I would say. But also it's a scenic drive, so it's not too bad.
Yeah, a little something to look at least, yeah.
Yeah, it's fun going up there, I always think, because it's super pretty during the winter or whenever we go. That one I never take as bad because you never go the day of the game. So days like today or even Lake State, again, isn't too far away, but when you have to get right off the bus and play, it's not an excuse, but definitely you have to get there a lot earlier and warm up a lot better.
Yeah, absolutely. And kind of speaking of the pregame routine, and I know, Chloe, from the time we were kind of spent in the summer, we were obviously training over the summer here in Big Rapids. I know you love to cook as far as really just chefing it up. As far as pregame meals, I know it can vary between teams and players and sports. What's kind of the go-to like pregame meal maybe on the bus or even before you leave?
Yeah, so if we're not getting pregame meal provided to us by our coaches, it's usually like an egg wrap with like ham, avocado, basil pesto, all that stuff. Gotta add some hot sauce to it, of course.
Oh, yes.
Are you a Cholula or Frank's Red Hot?
Cholula all the way.
Wow, okay.
Yeah.
Number one.
I'm on that same boat.
Yeah, my coach is a diehard Tabasco guy, so
Really?
that's for sure. Yeah,
I
cool.
like that one too, but sometimes I have to switch it up, so.
Yeah.
Mine is a little different. I'm not the most nutritious person on the planet. I try to have like a sandwich or eggs, but before every game, I still eat the purple Skittles before every game. So
Whoa, just the purple ones.
Yeah, or no, the purple bag.
Oh, I see what you had.
Oh gosh.
The purple bag.
That would take some time to pick apart.
That is bold right there.
Nope, I have to, like I said, it's really unorthodox, I would say, but I get a little sugar before the game.
Oh, there you go then.
I want to know, especially for Coach Westendorf, I've seen him in the summer at the golf course and stuff. What's he kind of like on the bus rides, especially, or just kind of day to day? Is there a big switch off from coach to just being Kurt and stuff like that, from practice and just everyday stuff?
I don't know if I would say a big switch off. I think he's a great leader because he's so consistent. I would say he brings the same energy, whether on the court or off the court. Obviously on the court it's different. Like he has higher standards for you. He expects the most. But as far as on the bus rides, like he likes to play cards. He is busy. He has to do the scout and everything. So I think we definitely get to have a little more like fun time as a team in a sense. But if there's ever, he loves to jump in euchre. He likes to joke around and do all the same things we do.
Does he have a go-to partner for euchre too, or is he just whoever's up is the...
Usually who's ever up, I think. He just jumps in.
Yeah, he's usually pretty busy doing, like Mel said, like scout, or he is definitely really locked in during game days, I would say. On the bus rides, I could tell.
Okay, right on. Well, and especially for you guys, for being such an experienced team, obviously you guys have trained, especially with a lot of the players that you're with, and now especially like a couple new freshmen coming in. I know obviously with Claire being the lone freshman kind of this year, but everybody else has really been working together. When it comes to practice time and when it comes to really we're prepping for the opponents, what are those things that you guys do maybe normally in practice that you feel set you apart from other teams in the GLIAC or even other teams in the region?
I would say, and this is credit to our full coaching staff, we scout very well. We know their plays in and out. And granted, at the end of the day, I know they happen a lot faster in a game, so you're still going to get burned. But it's very easy to identify plays, I think, for us. And one thing that we do that might, again, be different from other schools is we have a very lighthearted team. So, like, we could mess something up and we're not really getting screamed at first. It's more just like, we're all laughing, and I feel like it keeps a really good energy in the room knowing that when it comes like time of the game, we're going to be ready to work. But right now it's like, take a breath, like you got time.
Yeah. I agree with you, Mel. I would also say we're really detail-oriented with, like, everything we do in practice, whether it be practicing, like, how we play defense or just, like, running our offensive sets. And I think we keep our standards pretty high as a team. So just continuously every single day in practice, making sure that we reach those standards. Then in the future, we can raise those standards. And just if we're meeting those every single day, you know, we're reaching greatness. So
Right on.
And speaking of kind of on the court, Mallory, I mean, there's times where I'm watching you and I don't even expect the passes that you toss out. Is that kind of a spur of the moment thing? Are you kind of looking, especially kind of designing plays and stuff, are you looking for that pass right away and trying to fake it a little bit? Or what's the thought process behind those passes?
Yeah, I would definitely say I try to sell it. I feel like I know how a play is going to end up. Just with being the point guard, you kind of have to know where everyone's going. Mm-hmm. So I get very lucky because a lot of times I will say, Chloe catches my passes. She makes me look better than maybe what the passes are. But yeah, I just try to sell it. I was always taught sell it with your eyes. And if I can get somebody to bite a little bit, that's what I try to do.
Yeah, Mel has great vision for the court. She already knows what's going to happen before it already does. Like, I can see sometimes we'll make eye contact at half court and we both just like know what's going to happen.
You're like, it's coming.
I literally tell like the incoming freshmen or like the younger girls on our team, like, if she's not looking at you, expect it. Like, she will throw it. Like, that's when you have to expect it the most, is when you don't think it's coming. So
the head's got to be on a swivel when
at all times, yeah, for sure. And especially for you, Chloe. I mean, the Hakeem spin move is seeming to be in your bag all the time. Where'd you learn that move, and why is it your go-to?
I've just always done it. Actually, I will give credit. My dad used to like train me in like 5 basketball moves only, and that was one of them. So I've practiced it ever since I was young. I used it all throughout high school, and it worked. Kind of like a little fadeaway jumper. It's hard to guard, you know, and I'll just keep going to it just because it's what's comfortable to me. But yeah, it's definitely one of my favorite moves, I will say.
For sure. And last question for you. We thank you so much for coming on. We asked you guys already this last time you came on was the MVSP, but has anything changed, or is it still what's been the favorite thing about being a Ferris State Bulldog and being in Big Rapids?
I would just say the team. Like, I am so lucky to be a part of this team because we are so close and it creates such a good chemistry and culture, like on the court, but just off the court, knowing that you have 13 girls who will do anything for you, have your back no matter what. You know, it's special to me, and these are the girls that I'll be spending the rest of my life with as friends. So.
Absolutely. Exactly what Chloe said. These friendships that I've made obviously made us come back for another year, and there's nothing like it. Ferris is such a family atmosphere, and we always say it's different here, and you don't know what we're talking about unless you're here. So it's amazing. On the court is so much fun, but off the court is even better, knowing that you're doing what you love with your best friends. Absolutely.
Well, Mal, Chloe, thank you so much for joining us, and good luck this weekend.
Thank you.
Once again, huge thanks to Mallory McCartney and Chloe Idoni for coming on the show. They're headed to a game pretty much right after we finish recording.
Right now, they're on their way.
They are on their way up there, and we can't thank them enough for coming on the show. So let's head into the breakdown for what's happening this weekend.
Absolutely. Ferris State Sports Slate at Purdue Northwest, women's and men's tonight, 6 p.m. and 8 p.m. Tip-offs there from Hammond, Indiana. You can follow along at ferrisstatebulldogs.com. Joe, Friday, indoor track and field is going to be at the GVSU Holiday Open. Brandon's not going to be there, to my dismay, but it's going to be a good one regardless. And the men's ice hockey is kicking off the doubleheader first day against Bowling Green down in Ohio at 7:07 puck drop. There you go. From Slater on Saturday, women's and men's hoops at Parkside, 2 and 4 o'clock tip-offs there from Kenosha, as well as hockey finishes up a doubleheader at Bowling Green, 7:07. And just to make sure that you know, I have work on Friday, but I will be following along with that meet every single minute that I can.
I'm not knocking you for it. I'm just saying I'm surprised that you want to go. But that's going to be it for the episode. Brandon, close us out.
Absolutely. Until next time,
take care, everybody.